Hey, Gator fans. I am so excited that you are here. I want to talk to you for a minute about the roller coaster ride that has been Deshawn Purdie's commitment and exit from UF. So let's start from the beginning. Deshawn Purdie came to us from Charlotte. He had a really good year, had over 1,800 yards passing, young guy, stud, right? He was recruited by UF in December. He committed right away and came in to be the backup to DJ Lagway, right? At least that's what I thought. I think that's what all of you guys thought as well. Listen to the comments that he made at the time of his commitment. The coaching and their drive to be great. They have a good chip on their shoulder. The coaching staff and players, I loved to see them work, how they come together, have fun at practice, and everybody comes together as one. It was the staff for me, man, not just the coaches, but the director of personnel, Jacob LaFrance, and the recruiting department. It's just a lot of support, and I love to see that support in the building and the amount of respect that they have for each other. You know what? I loved that when I read that. And I thought, like, what a great guy to be a backup to DJ Lagway. We need a solid backup. We saw what happens when a starter goes down this year. We also saw what happens when the backup goes down this year. So getting some depth at quarterback is important. So now, fast forward to last week when he asked to be released 3 weeks after signing with Florida to go back into the transfer portal, supposedly because he didn't realize that DJ Lagway was going to be the starter in 2025. I have so many questions about this. So first, let's state the obvious. 0% chance that anybody at UF told him he was going to start over DJ Lagway. There is 0% chance. First of all, pretty much anybody that Coach Napier has ever recruited will tell you that he is an incredibly honest recruiter. I have talked to so many high school coaches in the area where I live, and they rave about the person that Coach Napier is. He is not out there selling his soul to recruits, right? He is not out there spinning truths to these players. There is 0% chance. But even if he was, has this guy never watched ESPN, read any magazines? He has like top 5 Heisman odds for 2025. How in the world did you think that there was a possibility that you were even coming in to compete, let alone that you were going to start over DJ Lagway? And, I understand that young kids sometimes are oblivious to what's around them or maybe have inflated ideas of their own talents. And I'm not saying that that's the case here, but I know that comes with the territory of being a young college athlete. But who are the adults advising him? What is going on in his camp that they let him sign on the dotted line thinking he was going to be the starter? Let's say that Coach Napier said to him, "You're going to have every opportunity to compete." And I mean, maybe that was said. Who knows? He should have every opportunity to compete. That's how spring practices are run. And I'm sure that DJ Lagway is not concerned about competition and welcomes competition. Even if that's what was said to you, which I highly doubt. I bet it was, I'll tell you what I think was probably said in a moment. But I'll get right back to the video, but first, I appreciate BetUS for all their support. Just quickly, make sure that you're betting with them and you're using their code YouTube150. That'll get you a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit, and you'll also get 125% on your next 2 deposits, all up to $2,000. The national championship game is next Monday, and we're in the middle of the NFL playoffs, so make sure that you are using BetUS. How do you take that into that you're going to start over DJ Lagway? You watched what happened to this Florida team the second half of the season, due in large part to who took over at quarterback. How did you watch this play out and think, yeah, I'm going to go in there and start over this guy, like for sure. They want me over him, right? That's thinking now before you've ever competed that you're the guy. It is pretty crazy to me. I don't have an issue with thinking, hey, I'm going to go into camp and I'm going to work my butt off and I'm going to see if I can beat him out. I hope every player on our team has that kind of attitude. I'm okay with that. It's the concept of thinking today that you should be the starter over DJ Lagway. And I just don't understand how any adults in his camp didn't pick up on this and advise better, right? Now, what I think was probably said to him was something along the lines of, we will make sure that you are prepared to be QB1 if need be, which would be, we're going to give you every opportunity to learn and train. And God forbid DJ Lagway go down, you are going to have all the tools in your toolbox to successfully lead this team. That's exactly how we want our backups prepared, right? And if you're Purdie, you're thinking, okay, I am going to come in. There's going to be games on their schedule where Lagway is potentially done by halftime or third quarter. I'm going to get reps in. We've got a great offensive line, a great running game, a lot of wide receivers. I'm going to have the opportunity to put together some great film so that I can either A, go elsewhere after this, B, compete to be the starter after Lagway, right? Like and I'm going to get a whole bunch of experience under my belt. I just don't understand how the wires got crossed. And I find it incredibly hard to believe that they were ever crossed at all from Florida's end. But this presents a problem for both sides, right? First of all, it presents a huge problem for DeShawn Purdie because he signed with Florida. The semester has started at UF. So where does this kid land now? And he's shown himself, whatever the miscommunication was, I don't know that this is going to look favorable in the eyes of other teams, right? And apparently he's looking for a team where he can walk in and start right away. And who is that going to be, And then it also presents a problem for UF. The Gators need a capable backup quarterback. And let's be honest, we haven't been all that lucky when it comes to quarterbacks staying healthy. We also saw what happened when you get to your third string guy. There is always going to be a drop off. Most of the time there's a drop off from your starter to your backup, but there's always going to be a drop off from your backup to your third string, particularly in the world of this transfer portal time, right? Because nobody's waiting their turn and paying their dues. They're hopping somewhere else. Florida needs a capable backup. Our backup is now our starter, right? So we need somebody to fill that role if, God forbid, Lagway go down. And think about this. Mertz went down in 2023. Mertz and Lagway went down in 2024. It's not out of the realm of possibilities that we are going to have to use a backup at some point next season if the last couple of seasons are any indication. So now Florida has to hit the transfer portal and figure out, okay, who is still in there or potentially will be entering there from the two teams that are still playing, either now or during the spring transfer portal period. But honestly, you're hoping now, right? And how do you get that guy in? There's just so many problems presented by this. And honestly, when they announced DeShawn Purdie, I was pumped. I thought that was a really capable backup. Was very excited for him to be a Gator. But I'm just so confused by this whole situation because anybody that has watched this Gator team for like 10 seconds this entire season knows who the starter is going to be in 2025. Anybody that knows anything about college football in general, even if they're not a Gator fan, knew that. So how in the world, not only did DeShawn Purdie not know, but his entire camp didn't know until he'd signed on the dotted lines and then spent 3 weeks at UF. None of it makes any sense to me. But I guess if he was going to leave eventually, it's okay for that to happen now. And I do hope he finds a landing spot. I hope that all college athletes that enter the transfer portal end up in a better situation than they left. But this one is a real head scratcher for me. I want to know what you guys think, though. What do you think happened? Where was the disconnect here? This is just baffling. Let me know down in the comments. I appreciate you guys hanging out. And as always, go Gators.